What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2, the perfectly pocket-sized podcast for fans of this amazing hybrid console that has stolen our hearts and minds. I am here, Antonio, aka HypeCaster, with my best buds, Clay the Big Man Howard, and David Industrial Jones. And today we're talking about Pokemon ZA. This will be the best episode of Switch Talk 2 that we've done so far. It's too huge. There's too many amazing revelations, including I was wrong about this game. That's right. For the first time ever, HypeCaster was wrong. But in order to kick things off, I wanted to do a quick get-to-know-you question so the audience could get to know us, so we could get to know each other, so we could look deep inside of ourselves. And what better than to talk about our Pokemon choices? Now, not the starter. That's old hat. I failed as a father. My daughter picked fire type. She got T-Pig, and I couldn't be more crushed. But what I wanted to ask my co-host here was what Pokemon you have in your lineup that is outside the mainstream. When I was a kid and I was playing like Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, I tend to have to me, I felt like I put a legendary in there. Like I had Pikachu, I had I stuck with my starter. I was like, why was I playing this game so boring? Whereas now playing Pokemon ZA, I'm trying to mix it up. I'm trying to get Pokemon in there from later gens, weirder ones, things I'm not familiar with. I've been experimenting more. So I wanted to ask who you have in your team that you enjoy. So my choice that I've made was the sheep. I think it's called Falafi. So instead of taking a number of the electric types that you see in this game in particular, I stuck with this sheep and I'm liking it. I don't know if I just like the design, but that was like my off the beaten path choice. I found a sheep early. I started evolving it and I'm liking it so far. Clay, what's your Pokemon choice that's not just vanilla? That's not just mainstream. What do you got on your team?
Yeah, so I picked up a Pancham earlier
Oh,
on in the
yeah.
game, which is the tiny little panda, and then worked real hard to get him evolved to Pangoro. Is
Nice.
the name? It's a fighting dark Pokemon, but he is just one of the more badass looking Pokemon, if you will. Especially when you let him out and he runs around with you. He's like 3 or 4 feet taller than you, give or take, and just runs around. He's got a little piece of like green grass in his mouth, and he's just like real intimidating looking, and he just kind of trudges all over the place. And I just think he's super cool. And
Yeah,
so,
he's cool.
not normally a Pokemon I would roll with, even though I love the design and I think they're cool. Both evolutions are pretty sweet. Not one I normally have on my team, and I'm enjoying having them out. So
Is he grass fighting or grass ground or he's
fighting
maybe
dark.
really? Okay. I could have sworn he
Mhm.
was like some type of green fighting dark. That's cool.
Yeah.
David, Pokemon off the beaten path, mainstream.
Hmm. And I've been trying to think about this one. I'm sadly with my main team. I usually end up pretty vanilla because I always do one of the like water, fire, grass, electric,
Yeah.
and then usually a psychic.
Who's your psychic then? That's where things get I feel like there's a lot of options
hmm
once you get into like ghost, psychic, like there's variations. Like not there's not one like champ,
Right.
I would say. Even normals.
So, depending on the Pokemon game that I'm playing, let's say if I have an event Pokemon like Mew available, usually Mew always ends up in my team, and I've been able to do
Hmm.
that. I think I did that in Pokemon Let's Go. Obviously, Mewtwo you can't get till the end of the original. For this Pokemon ZA, I'm trying to remember its name, and it's killing me. It's the one that came as a mystery gifts bonus if you bought the game early.
Uh,
So
yeah,
Oh.
I'm rocking.
I know
It
what you're talking
starts with
about.
an R. It's like this little kind of I don't know what. That's really hard. It's one of those Pokemon that just looks like it was generated by AI. It makes
It's just
yeah,
it's all
it's like
angles.
yeah, it's just angles. It's like it looks like a Pokemon. I have no idea what it is. I think
Yeah,
it starts
I
with an
hear you.
R though, but yeah, it's the one you get with. So I guess that's probably my most unusual one in my team currently. For my current playthrough would be that one. Whose name I cannot remember.
I'm gonna challenge myself to put my Kadabra away and like branch out to another psychic. There's like so many new ones in later gens that I never got
Mhm.
into. But let's kick off the conversation proper. Pokemon ZA, like I came into this super tepid. Like I was like, I haven't played a mainline Pokemon or a spin-off Pokemon honestly at all for like decades now. It was just like never grabbed me. In my mind, I was like, baby game. This is not for me anymore. I've outgrown it. I was not prepared to be more wrong. At some point, very early on, within just even though it was a slow start, granted, it got me into the loop. Like I was like, oh, like I want to manage my team. Oh, I have a lot of like onus here over like how the comp is going to be. And when Pokemon are learning new moves and you're swapping them out, I've been using a lot of items. I've been just trying to go objective to objective. The gameplay loop got me, and just overall the aesthetic got me. It screams enough, but also kind of bare minimum, like in so many ways. It's frustrating because I'm like, there's such potential for it to be even more addicting, but I keep coming back to this game. I boot it up whenever I have a few minutes to play, and I just want to rank up like that. I am super surprised. Clay, how do you feel about the game overall?
Yeah, so I was down to play this game from the get-go. I haven't played a mainline Pokemon in a while. I skipped Arceus and a few of the other ones on the Switch, and so I was ready to go. I was excited. I was like, let's do it. Um then I started hearing some of the early reviews, and they were a bit negative, especially Nintendo Life, for whatever reason, seemed like they weren't really enjoying it, which is kind of odd because I feel like they've changed their tone a little bit since then. But I don't know. I went into it with low expectations because I just kept seeing things on videos and YouTube videos and things, reviews, people saying like, it's just okay. And so I went in not sure I was really gonna love it, and then like you was pleasantly surprised. Like, what are people talking about? Like, this is a great game. Like, I'm having a great time, and I sunk about 20 hours in on the first weekend. I had nothing going on, and so I just played the heck out of this game. On the front end, I've obviously slowed down since then, which is how I play every Pokemon game. I'm obsessed for the first like 24 hours of gameplay, and then I kind of like fizzle out a little bit, but I'm still enjoying it and I still really like it, and I feel like it wasn't getting a super fair shake. There are things about this game that I don't like, but for the most part it's actually a very fun, positive experience, and I kind of like these in between releases where they just kind of put a hodgepodge of Pokemon from different Pokemon series out, where you're not getting a lot of new Pokemon necessarily, but you're getting an interesting mixture of previous games where you might find a Pokemon that you wouldn't normally run with. And so that's why your question earlier was perfect for this kind of game of what is it, a Pokemon that you wouldn't normally roll with, but you are. And it's because these little in between games kind of create an opportunity for that. And so I really like that about it, just trying to try new things out, doing things a little bit differently, and then down the line eventually we'll get a new mainline new generation Pokemon game, but this isn't that, and it doesn't need to be. And so I was really excited about this one. I was ready to get out there and catch some Pokemon and explore, and this game was so restricting on the front. I'm just going to go right into it in case I don't get the opportunity. The one thing I don't like about this game is how handholdy it is at the beginning. And if you want to see what I'm talking about, go to Donkey's YouTube channel. I don't know if you know who he is. He
Yeah.
has a whole video on this game, and it's literally just making fun of how the game won't let you do anything for like the first like 5 to 6 hours, whatever it is, 3 to 5 hours. They put you out in this big city and you want to go down. Oh, I want to go that way. No, you can't go that way. You got to go this way. Oh, hold on, we got to go talk to so and so. Come with me. And it's just like you can't do what you want. It's very linear and it's very handholdy. And I mean, the game is already about being stuck inside of a city, so it's already kind of restrictive, and this just made it that much worse. And so that was really frustrating up front. I was like, I just want to like go play the game. Like, I don't want to keep talking to people. It was way too much dialogue. I know Pokemon games are infamous for having a lot of dialogue, but it was like, oh my gosh. And the lack of voice acting, I know that's something everybody's hyping on or harping on with this game, and it's becoming so glaringly omitted at this point that it feels weird not having voice acting to this degree. And so that on top of the hand holding just makes it's a little bit of a rough start, but I still really enjoyed it, and I still think that it is a lot better than people were saying it was.
For the voice acting, like it's interesting because there is so much text, so characters just talking, talking, talking. The reading is actually helping my daughter who's 5, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, why isn't this voice acted? In fact, why don't they go the full way and have, like, you have Pokemon cartoons that are, like, very animated. These characters are, like, why you watch, and you have opportunity for humor and, like, for you to just be like, "Oh, I really like this character. Why don't we evolve this?" And what's interesting is like the kids reading actually helps them because she's just like practicing her reading like a lot. So I was like, if this was fully characterized and like you could turn off the text and all that, it'd be more brainless. So I, from a parent perspective, very oddly, like the joy of reading, like, hey, work on your reading skills. I had a mixed thing because me, it was bothering me throughout. They don't even do the Zelda thing where it's like, or in the ukulele or Banjo Kazooie, where it's like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah," like that would have went
Mhm.
a long way. But there's a lot of points that you had that I wanted to we'll loop back on. David,
Yeah.
overall impressions of the game. You are a Pokemon aficionado. You've played games recently. You've
Mhm.
played Arceus, like
I
all of this.
actually
So
have
what do
not
you
played
think of the
the
game? Oh,
Arceus.
that was
That
the
was the
one
one I
you
have
skipped.
not. So
Okay.
I am kind of going into this as not really experiencing the Legends side of the Pokemon spin-offs.
You did Sword and
Yeah,
Shield,
Sword and
right?
Shield
Hmm.
and Scarlet and Violet. So I've been playing
Yeah.
pretty much all the mainline games, and have been very complimentary to them, and others have not. That being said, um, I think this game is just okay.
Hmm.
it 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 to me it feels like a big step down coming from Scarlet and just Scarlet and Violet, which was so much freedom, um, and this is just kind of I don't know this I didn't know much going in. I didn't read the reviews going in, so I had pretty pure experience of not knowing whether this was supposed to be a good or bad game. Like I was so busy with other stuff. Um, I definitely noticed the hand holdiness at the start where it's like, oh my gosh, people just won't shut up and it's not interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not.
and I guess especially going in, I almost imagined what this game could have been. It was like, I'm going to be in this city. And I'm thinking of so many good RPGs, particularly like the Persona series where you're basically just in a city,
Yeah.
and how well those games do that. And initially, this game almost gave me a little bit of Persona 5. So I got all this gang of characters who's in this motel. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like Persona 3 or something. Um,
Hmm.
except you don't really care. Like none of the characters are good so far.
No.
It's yeah. So it reminds me of a lot of better RPGs. I think I mentioned this. So the game they've changed obviously towards real time gameplay that feels like just a super neutered version of like a game like Xenoblade or something. Um, and honestly, I was just kind of like, I don't know. It's just not that engaging. The combat to me, it's like I'd rather play the turn based, or a more complicated, um, active based. Because I feel like if you're gonna go to this sort of active based kind of MMO style, combat, like I wish there was more to do than just like four moves.
Yeah.
um, so I think Pokemon works better than simplicity as turn-based combat. This issue may have also been in Arceus, but uh, um, I don't know. Um, It looks
You
pretty.
talk
Um, the
okay,
gameplay
graphically
loop
it's
so far,
decent.
I'll keep in mind I haven't played that far. I'm sort of into the point where you just now have to battle a bunch of trainers at night and got the challenge ticket,
Yeah.
which I've done. And there's some side quests around, none of which I find to be particularly enjoyable. You're just kind of the side quests. You just battle someone. Here, go battle some more people, and then your rank goes up. So far, I just don't really feel like I'm doing anything, and I'm just not really invested in what I'm doing. It just feels like making stats go up at this point. And I was kind
Mhm.
of, I do appreciate that I don't play as a child this time. That's definitely on on my positive lists. It just feels like there's a lot of missed opportunities. There could have been something way more interesting going on in this city. I finally have an adult as a character, which could make for an actual interesting drama. Um, but there isn't really anything. It's still kind of just a different kind of Pokemon journey, as if I'm just trying to make my rank go up in a city instead of, I don't know. Especially with the advertisement, maybe I just need to play further. But they had a really cool advertising campaign to this game that I still don't really see like reflected. It almost made it feel like, oh, maybe this is going to be like some fun mystery that's going to go on in this city. So maybe it's my own fault for having expectations of a Pokemon game that were just never going to be fulfilled. But I'm still having fun.
I would agree, David.
Yeah.
I think the overarching storyline is lame. I keep waiting for it to evolve into something more, pardon the pun. But and maybe it will, but like I feel like I'm pretty far into the game, and it's like the main conflict, and this isn't a spoiler, is that there are Pokemon around the city who are having like sporadic mega evolutions
Yeah.
that are like happening for no reason, and we're like trying to get to the bottom of it, and it's like, okay, that's it. And my wife kept watching and going, is that the bad guy? Is that the bad guy? And I was like, I don't think so. Like, I don't know who the bad guy is in this. Like,
Yeah.
and not that every game needs to have that, but it's just it's missing some things that you would just assume are going to
Yeah,
be in here,
especially
and I just think
because
the
it
plot
is
is a
in
little
such
thin.
a like enclosed area. It's not like a big Pokemon adventure. You're in this one city. And usually when you do that in an RPG, you're zooming in on this very small place. It can make it very detailed. And Persona 5 does this really well with Tokyo. And there's so much just to do in random games, there's many mini games, and to make this sort of place feel alive. Um, and that world doesn't really feel particularly alive in this game. It's just kind of a city with not much to do in it besides Pokemon battle. So yeah, maybe I'm comparing it to games that are a lot more in depth, and it's not entirely fair, but I don't know.
Take it away, Clay.
One other thing I wanted to mention, I feel like the whole mega evolution thing. I know that that's been in games before or whatever, and so it's nothing new. But it it feels like something they threw in to make it special, which they do with these games sometimes. But it feels like it's the main focus of this game, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
That sounds selfish, but as the gamer, as the person playing the game, I don't care about that. And I feel like they've put so much emphasis in it with this game where it's like you can't just ignore it. You have to kind of have to lean into it. And so the issue is you can't do a mega evolution for every single Pokemon in this game.
Mhm.
It doesn't, or at least they chose not to. And so knowing that not every single Pokemon on my team can get a mega evolution, um, puts me at a bit of a disadvantage. Whereas if you are a person who's like, I'm just gonna every time I get a mega evolution, I'm gonna go get that Pokemon and I'm gonna get them up to the level the rest of my team is, and then I'm gonna use them. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I think my starter is the only Pokemon I have right now that has a mega evolution. And the only way I can beat other Pokemon with a mega evolution easily or without having to like grind really really hard is to pull out my starter and use him and his mega evolution to fight other Pokemon. And basically every trainer that you fight after a certain point has at least one Pokemon with a mega evolution, and you pretty much have to use your mega evolution to beat theirs. And so
Crazy.
but I've got a Venusaur, I've got that Panda. That neither of those can you, as far as I can tell, have a Mega Evolution, and so it's like, so I'm automatically at a disadvantage because I don't want to use those, and so that's the other part about this game that I don't fully agree with, and I kind of have have an issue getting my head around it. That's all.
Mhm.
From someone who was surprised, the secret sauce was the old school mentality of, oh, there's a Pokemon that I see walking around that belongs to someone else. They look so cool rendered, just like walking around the world. When I see one, I want to capture it, or I want to
Mhm.
capture and evolve to get up to that level. The wild zones where you go in and you're just kind of hunting Pokemon and you're knocking them out or just getting them surprised from behind and capturing them that way.
Mhm.
All of these things were just enough. That's like my takeaway, is like it's just enough to keep me interested. And I think that if I was like David and I played the good Pokemon that have this expansive world, that have like exploration, a better story, effort put in all these other areas, I think I'd be hooked. Like what I want to do now is go
Mhm.
play Arceus. I want to go play, like, they have me sold on the main line Pokemon game that's coming soon, because I'm like, these are fun still.
Mhm.
And it's enough to satisfy me. But every criticism you guys have, I double down on all that. Like, this story is terrible.
Yeah.
Characters are terrible. And I wanted to talk more about the city. But go ahead,
I just
David. What
had
were you going to say?
one. I felt like it was a little bit too negative. There was one positive of this game that I really like, and I hope they move forward. And that's when you enter these wild zones where you're catching
Yeah.
Pokemon. It's very clear how many Pokemon are found in that area,
Oh,
and it
yeah. There's
really
6
scratches
here.
my
You're
sort of
missing
collector's
one.
itch to like go into each
Yeah.
area and like work on catching each Pokemon. And that's been my favorite part of the game so far. Though I wish the wild areas were a little bit bigger, and there doesn't seem to really be that many of them. Maybe they're. I don't know if
There's
the
more.
map unlocks any further later on, but it looks like there's only like 5 or 6 wild areas, which doesn't
There's
seem like
more.
a lot.
There's a lot more.
Okay,
There's a
Yeah.
lot more.
good.
Yeah.
They're surprisingly small up to the first 5 or
Hmm.
6, because that's how many I've seen, is 6. And for their, like, I'm in a love-hate relationship with these wild zones, because it's like, okay, I can go there and do this, great. I wish it was bigger. I wish it was more dynamic. And the walls where you have to go in through a particular gate is interesting, because I'm like, I just want to go in to the, the fences like started to bother me more and more the more I played. But the other zones, which is at night battling trainers, trying to sneak up on them in the red zones. What are they called? The red zones? Not the I can't call them the danger zone.
Danger zone.
But you have these red zones where you go in at night, you're earning tickets in order to get your promotion match. The pacing of that was so addicting. I loved going out at night. I love like the battle, then battle. Like, I'm using items to keep my Pokemon like fresh, and I've never used items before in these games. Like, I'm looking at the move sets and finely tuning. I'm like giving them the little candies. I'm giving them the fruits to
Hmm.
hold on to, like thinking very strategically. And I don't think the game is like demanding that of me, but I just want to do it to like optimize,
Hmm.
because if you do it right, you pick up the right cards and fulfill the right mini missions within the right amount of time, you get more stuff, which is just ends up being translates to like gold and money. But it's addicting to want to optimize and min max in that way. So the thing that I didn't like about the red zones is like a big emphasis is about sneaking up on trainers, and all I'm seeing so far is them like moving left or right every once in a while.
Hmm.
So it's like the worst sneaking possible. Like, am I close enough? I don't know. This lock on button doesn't work. Like, it's kind of finicky a little bit. Like, it's not the most responsive. So it's very interesting. One of the biggest faults of the game is it's 5 minutes. The city is a circle, very basic layout. It's 5 minutes across, 10 minutes because there's cuts and alleyways. You can't walk straight line. So, because of the cuts, again, just 10 minutes across and then a circumference. And it's like, who made this decision to bottleneck them so much? I see these, Scarlet Violet, and you're like riding the Pokemon and you have these vast vistas. Like, who decided to put it all into a box? Like, this is so weird. And like, it doesn't bother me, the fake veneers on the buildings, and it not it being very flat. It's like fake depth. Like, the buildings are like, you can't see into the windows of the first floor even, which I'm like, man,
Mm-hmm.
if there was more activity. You mentioned Persona, the city, the way that it's laid out. In Persona 5, it's actually very static, where there's not too many people just strolling. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are just sit in place, but it felt more alive somehow than what we have here. I love the music. I love the chill, like, this is French, but also Japanese
Mm-hmm.
uh vibe. And it's not annoying for me to walk around, but I am constantly wishing and yearning for a more alive approach. Like, there's taxis you can use,
Mm-hmm.
they're not driving around. I think I saw one jogger like move around. Like, you can talk to people, but they're just so dead
Yeah.
inside. They look good, the character models are good, that it's just so bland. So much good for me as a haven't played in a while, but so much bad. I agree with everything that you're saying uh about the game. Like, it's just, it has so much potential. The next mainline Pokemon game, if they put in effort, I think will be really good,
Mm-hmm.
and it has gotten me back.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Clay? Any other things you like, dislike, or David like or
Yeah.
dislike?
I like the overall aesthetic of the game. I like it's different. It's kind of like you're in this fancy hotel with all this like crazy, um, I don't know like aesthetics and things, but it's got like a European vibe to it.
Yeah.
I like the coffee shops outside with Charizard standing there next to the coffee shop. I don't know if he heats up the coffee or what, but like
Yeah, they
just the
dip
whole
into
vibe
that a
of it.
little
Mm-hmm.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, I just like it. I think they did a really good job. I enjoyed the little parkour courses where you have to climb around and try to grab the like the purple springs or whatever, or screws or whatever they
Mhm,
are. Like
mhm.
I liked all that, and so I enjoyed that a lot. Also, this game is like it's kind of a collectathon a little bit. There is stuff everywhere. There's these little
Yeah.
like pink crystals that you can break off walls. There's little shiny things all over the place. There's red Pokeballs all over the place. And so there's always stuff to go and like pick up and collect. And it just, as soon as you like save or reload, it just all kind of reloads back in and you can just go back out and do it again. And so I just found myself running around mindlessly picking up exorbitant amounts of things that I probably don't even need. And so I don't know, it scratched the itch. I didn't overthink it. It's kind of a fun mindless game to just put on and play. And yeah, overall I was pleasantly surprised with it. I'm hoping to get to credits on this game. I would love to beat it, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen the Pokemon movie, right? Where it's like, oh, the Pokemon in the city and how like lively it was. You had the underground fighting thing, you had like the seedy element. The climbing and being on the roofs in this game is cool. Like the ladders, the yellow like teleport ladders, all of this. I'm only again to mission like 8 or something,
Mm-hmm.
but my daughter was like, "Oh, she loves going to sleep." She's like, "Oh, I'm going to sleep. Oh, now it's night. Now it's morning," which is great. But then it's like she's like, "I want to sit in the chair." You can't sit in that chair. Okay, like, I want to sit at the cafe. You can't do that. Like, I want to go this way. Like, no, there's a door, but you can't go into it.
Yeah.
It's so restrictive. It just makes you wish for, there's again just so much potential there. But the rooftop stuff, when you float or you fall, your phone like stops you from splatting on the floor, which, okay, are you all aware if there is a glide mechanic or a double jump? Because I'm just thinking like going from roof to roof, like crossing the street, you can like hit some webs and it becomes a bridge. You can do certain things. It hints that it's going to open up, but like if they had done something like that and done it sooner at least, I can you imagine just how cool this would be? Just getting that vertical element. Like you're so grounded in a very vertical game. I just thought it was interesting because even a double jump or a glide like in Genshin Impact or Zelda, like let me hold a chicken and like
Yes.
float down or
So,
some shit like
so
that.
there,
Like that's all
Tony,
I want to do. Yes, sir.
there
Oh,
is.
good.
You just haven't got to it yet.
I love being on the roofs. Do you all have an issue like I do with that major thing of sneaking and like sneaking up on a Pokemon, sneaking up on a trainer? I can't do it. Like this button where you have to lock on first, it's not perfect, right? I'm
Mhm.
not crazy. These controls are kind of odd. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the battling. So it's live, but for me, it doesn't feel good. Like
Mm-mm.
I want to know what's happening, but the screen just fills up with so many lights and colors. All I'm really paying attention to is my cooldowns on my attacks and the health bars. So I can't really enjoy, I can't like queue up an attack and watch it happen. But when I see it live, like Razor Leaf, Waterfall, Rollout, like Fire Spin, they look
Mhm.
cool. Everything looks cool happening. I love when I am able to glance up and see, but I'm so like focused on the battle. Like I almost like wish it was more of a hybrid of action and turn based,
Mhm.
but I have trouble understanding what's going on, especially in the larger battles. But the battles happen quick, which I like. They're over very quickly, especially if you take advantage of like the advantages, the type advantages. What do you think of the battling specifically, Clay? Like, do you like oh,
So
you move your character around while your Pokemon is freely moving? I didn't understand the point.
most of it I didn't dislike. Most of it I enjoyed. I don't think it I don't think it's as bad as David makes it sound, but I don't think it's as good as everyone in the reviews made it sound
Mhm.
either. For all the negativity this game got, the battle system seemed to be the one thing that most of the reviews I read or watched were at least saying, "Hey, I enjoyed the combat. It was something different." And so, overall, I've enjoyed it. The one thing about it that I have an issue with um, is, especially in the big battles, you the player, the character, you can take damage if you stand around too much. And so you find yourself, especially in the bigger like boss battles, you have to move around quite a bit. But the
Mhm.
problem is when you're moving around, I'm not usually thinking about like, okay, I need to make sure that my Pokemon is always attacking while I'm dodging. And so I'm dodging and my Pokemon's just running around doing nothing. And then I'm wasting my mega evolution timer that's going down and I'm just wasting time I could be attacking him. So the thing that I would have changed is I would at least have it where there's a base level attack that a Pokemon is constantly attacking with once you
Yeah.
start. As soon as
Mhm.
you get into a boss battle, at the very least, it's every 5 seconds it's going to do a tiny attack that does. But like there isn't anything like that. You have to tell it to do every single move, and so um, I feel like games like this where you run around and you have like a something attacking like Nino Kuni or something. There's usually at least a base level attack happening that just automatically happens, and then you pick the more like advanced attacks or whatever. Same with like Diablo. When you're like playing in Diablo, I think there's at least I don't know. That's a bad example, but it's just that was the only thing I had was I would notice I'd be like so focused on dodging attacks that I realized, oh, I haven't told my Pokemon to attack this guy in like 10 seconds. I need to do one or whatever. And so that was the only thing that I kind of was having issues with, but that's probably more a personal issue than like game design, I guess.
It seems like a broken system. Like I still don't understand. Like I get the idea. Like I can take damage. Do you have a health bar? I've been looking for it as the human.
I don't think there's
Like
a health bar. I think it's just a visual thing, like the screen
right.
gets more or whatever
But
as
how
you
do I
get hit
like
more.
give me a HP bar if I have one? Right. I
Yep.
mean, I have one because you can
And
take too much damage. What the
and you can
hell?
take it. There's an upgrade you can get later where you can take more damage. But you're right. Like how will you even know what the difference is because you can't
It.
see it.
I thought it was the oddest thing. I'm like, where's my health bar? I see I got knocked out. I'm like, okay, where's my indicators? So these AoE attacks, I love the concept. Like smokescreen is an actual smokescreen. It actually has functionality. Like if you're sneaking up on Pokemon, all this is cool. So many good ideas, but then it feels imperfect. Like it feels like a melding for the sake of they wanted to try it. And I would have probably said, if I can walk around, let that be just my view of the battle, but not make it mandatory. So let me walk around, let me see everything that's happening. But I rather have been in control of the Pokemon dodging a thunderbolt. Can you imagine if you were, Pikachu, and you could like go left to dodge the Pokemon's attack and then do a quick attack and even double down on the AoE stuff. Now I'm the Pokemon like bouncing around trying to use my little legs or whatever like to bob and weave and use my moves that require a startup animation that require, then now you're thinking strategically. But if I can't tell my Pokemon, hey, don't stand there right now, what was the point? Like, why give me legs just to give me something else to worry about? David, any final thoughts on the battle system or the game as a whole?
Yeah, and as I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm not. It's not like this game is like people are always a little bit hyperbolic online. So just to
Yeah.
clarify a little bit, it is still fun. But it just feels a bit like a missed opportunity to really like zone in on this smaller world and make this world like feel alive. But it is I am very excited going forward. The game has great performance. It looks good. And I like that they're doing these kind of smaller games kind of in between the main line now. Like we had Arceus and even like Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. So I feel like they're taking longer to do the mainline games than they used to now. And I'm hoping that, that maybe the why this game is a little bit thin is that's what it was always intended. It's to whet our appetites for the next main line coming to Switch 2, which I think we can all be excited for now that it's on hardware that could support it, which was the big problem with the last Pokemon game was Switch just couldn't handle it and it ran terribly. So very exciting times. I'm gonna keep playing it. I still love the franchise. It's just a little bit disappointing of what it could have been. I guess that's where I'll
Yeah,
leave it.
100%. They got me with the bare minimum, so
Mhm.
I'm excited for the next one. Honestly, I there's something about it. I mean, maybe I just always loved Pokemon, and like I thought I fell out of love, but it like the gameplay loop of just like battle, catch, like pick up item, break this, like it's good enough, and it's keeping me going. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody, for another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2. The next episode is either gonna be Age of Imprisonment or Kirby. uh, I have my eye on Age of Imprisonment, but the reviews, some of them are kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's deep enough to get me for a Mushu game. Hey, it's all about action, so maybe you don't need that. We'll
Right.
see, everybody. But we'll be back with another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2. Thank you very much for joining us.